You all set with attendance? And one adjustment, a resignation by Ethan Edmondson. That'll be added in on communications. And entertain a motion to accept the April 25th, 2024 school board meeting minutes. Robin and Dawn will second. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Start with Robin.
Yes.
Skylar. Jody.
Yes.
Elaine.
Yes.
Don Emery.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Avery. And Bob.
Yes. So moved. Entertain a motion to accept the retirement of Janet Ventrella, ELA teacher, Spruce Mountain Middle School, effective December 31st, 2024. Motion by Elaine. Do we have a second? Dawn? Comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Jody.
Yes.
Robin.
Yes.
Skylar. Elaine.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Don Emery.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Avery. Yes. Bob.
Yes. Point of order, the girls can't vote on those.
They can vote on a lot of it. They can't vote on personnel at all.
No. Sorry, ladies. Entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Amanda Reddy, fourth grade teacher, Spruce Mountain Elementary School, effective end of this school year. Motion by Robin. Do we have a second? Dawn, any comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Roger.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Robin.
Yes.
Jody.
Yes.
Don Emery.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Yes.
Me too.
Elaine.
Yes.
So moved. Which one did I just do? Amanda. Entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Ethan Kutcher, science teacher, Spruce Mountain Middle School, effective the end of this school year. Motion by Robin. Do we have a second? Dawn, any comments? Roll call, please.
Elaine.
Yes.
Don Emery.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Robin.
Yes.
Jody.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Yes. So moved. Entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Hattie DeRaps, English teacher, Spruce Mountain High School, effective end of this school year. Motion by Roger, second by Jody. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Jody.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Don Emery.
Yes.
Elaine.
Yes.
Robin.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
And Bob.
Yes. So moved. Entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Joseph Menace, hopefully I said that right, PE teacher, Spruce Mountain Middle School, effective end of this school year. Motion by Robin, second by Dawn. Any comments? Roll call, please.
All right, we'll start with Dina.
I'm going to have to abstain because I didn't even hear the question.
What's that?
I didn't hear the question.
The motion is to accept the resignation of Joseph Menace.
Okay, yes.
And Elaine.
Yes.
Jody.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
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 Yes. So moved. Whoop.
Yes.
And I'd entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Ethan Edmondson, music teacher, Spruce Mountain Elementary School, effective end of this school year. Motion by Roger. Do we have a second? Jody, any comments? Roll call, please.
Robin,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Jody, Holly,
Yes.
Yes. Got it all? Laura? Anybody got missed? So moved. Do we have any? And school board members, ladies.
Hello, good evening. The track team is nearing the end of their season, so I'd like to congratulate the people who are making it to MVCs or states. There's a lot. Natasha McDonald is going to MVCs for the 100-meter and 200-meter dash and long jump. Elia Scarborough is going to MVCs for the 100-meter dash. Erin Chen is going to MVCs for race walk. Bryce Marston is going to MVCs and states for shot put, MVCs and is provisionally qualified for states for discus, and MVCs for javelin. Brandon Wilson is going to MVCs for shot put. Kenzie Richards is going to MVCs for the long jump and provisionally qualified for states in the long jump as well. Hannah Perkins is going to MVCs and states for race walk. And lastly, congrats to Bryce Marston for getting the new school record in shot put.
And then we would also like to say congrats to the school's Envirothon team who came in for the top 5 at our regional competition that was hosted at French Falls last Wednesday. The 2 top teams will continue on to the state competition at Quarry Road on the 31st. These teams are the green team, including Leah Burgess, Brendan Vayu, Hannah Doopy, Natalie Furka, and Lily Fortier. And then the black team will also be going to states because they came in second, and that includes Mason Labonte, Sam Geisinger, Casey Burns, and Violet Bellarose. And then also it is AP testing week, so we are wishing everyone luck and encouraging you to study hard.
And lastly, any board members or public members are welcome to give blood on May 23rd from any time from 8 to 1. If you want to or are thinking about it, please either email me at like my school email or talk to me in person. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, board members, Robin?
This was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I don't think our teachers get enough appreciation. I just want to personally reach out and say thank you so much for all of the hard work that you do, and also thank you to those who support you here in the school system. We are extremely proud of you, and we know how hard you guys work. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
Anyone else? I think this week was also Nurses Appreciation Week, and I just want to say we have 4 really great nurses in our district, and they deserve applaud too. So, and my wife's a nurse, so she reminded me to say that. Scott.
Good evening. Is that on? Yes, okay. As she said, this is Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, along with Nurse Appreciation Week. I hope my staff knows that I appreciate them each and every day and not just this week. I was able to attend the Seniors Honors Banquet last week. It was a wonderful night for the best of our senior students to be recognized for their attributes. I also was able to attend the Western Maine Education Collaborative meeting with area superintendents, assistant superintendents, and curriculum coordinators, We get a lot of our professional development offerings through them. The meeting was looking to start the establishment of the collaborative's goals for the next 5 years. You'll see in front of you, board members, 2 things that I handed out. The first is information that was requested on teachers' sick days and personal days. I was able to go back to 2017-18 up until this year, till May 1st. You'll notice there's some stars on there because they include maternity-related absences. We know, like this year at the primary school, that number looks high, but we have three people who were out on maternity leave at some point in time, so those days adds up. Also, you'll notice in the other numbers, it talks about FMLA issues. That means if someone's out for surgery, et cetera. And also, you'll see some bumps in there for COVID days. When we first got back from our time off, and then we had COVID days that were in effect that had to count in that amount, whether the staff was actually sick or not. Remember, when it first came out, when they came in contact, they had to be out for 14 days, whether or not they had it or not. So luckily, things have gotten kind of back to normal the last couple of years with the COVID days. One of the other questions, and a legitimate question, is does teacher attendance affect student test scores? And I believe teacher attendance is one of the factors to affect student test scores, just like student attendance is, as is student efforts on test. Having most of our special ed population have to take some of these tests that they probably shouldn't have to take. Also, you need good, strong home support for these kids. We also have kids, like I said, don't always give the best effort on the tests. The state keeps changing the tests, so you can't do any longitudinal data from that information because they just keep giving us a different test every time. Also, the biggest thing I've noticed lately is they've changed the cut lines on the test, meaning where the kids are either proficient or not, and it's like, you move the line from last year to this year, how do we know that we've really haven't improved or improved because you've decided to just arbitrarily move that line? Other thing is we continue to look at our scope and sequence to make sure it is appropriate and it lines up with where it needs to line up. And we also need to take a look at how much time is spent in class on each subject. Circling back around to also being connected with staff being out is we do not have enough subs on many days. And many of the subs we have are great. They do a great job, but it's not the same as having the teacher present. Absolutely not. When teachers are out of the classroom, it does or can affect students' learning. But having a shortage of quality teachers is an even greater effect on student success. And that's why you'll see that I put the article out from the Sun Journal this past week. It talks mostly about Lewiston, but it's really a problem across the state with shortage of teachers. That means you have more subs, and then that means you end up with a shortage of subs in other positions, and that there's a high burnout. And we don't see it getting any better any quicker. We know UMF is not putting out as many teachers as they've put out in the past. So we have to look at different ways. I was at the senior banquet the other night, and 3 people talked about wanting to become teachers. I went up to them after that meeting and said, I want you to student teach here, and I would like you to come back and apply for a position here in 4 years because we want the people from here to come back here, and if you want to be in education, I want you. Years past, you didn't have to do that. You could wait until the kids came for student teaching. But because of the cost of things now, we have people who come here to student teach because they go to UMF, but they live in the southern part of the state and they have to go live with their parents when they first get out of school because they can't afford to live anyplace else. So we're losing some of those people that would normally stay in this area from Farmington because they student taught with us, but they need to go someplace else because this is not where they're from. So there's many issues that are out there, like I said, all across the state. The article talks about Lewiston being understaffed by close to 100 positions. It's a scary thing. And all those things do definitely affect test scores. So if I know board, you just got this. If you guys have questions for the next meeting, feel free to ask. Be more than happy to answer those questions for you. And that's all I have.
Questions or comments? Holly?
Enclosed in our packet was the calendar. Is that something we're going to
Yep, that's on the agenda later, yep,
Okay.
yep,
And then I have another question.
yep.
Do you and Bob still meet on Tuesdays?
Usually on Tuesdays, yep.
Because I had asked for a discussion about what you guys meet on, and that hasn't happened since I asked for it.
Well, I wanted to make sure we were doing it right, and I checked with our lawyer, and he said that's really considered a private meeting and shouldn't be set out to the public. Usually what it is establishing what is going to be on our agenda and what's not.
And the board's not privy to that.
Well, yeah, I guess you guys could all come in, but then it would be an official board meeting if you have more than a quorum.
And what is the rules on a forum?
Quorum, if we have 13 people on the board, if you have 7 people, you have a quorum. You can't have, that's why when you see our subcommittees, usually you have 5 or 6 people, because you can have 5 or 6 people and it not be an official board meeting. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay. Administrative reports. Sherry?
Okay, I guess I can get on my tiptoes, right? So, good evening. Oh, in special education, we currently have 352 students. 24 of these are students in the referral process. This is an overall decrease of 3 students in special education, and the referrals went up only by 1. So in spring, that's pretty good. We are definitely determining eligibility each week. Spring's a busy time in special education. Some of these referrals will carry over to next year, simply because we only have 2 part-time school psychologists that we contract with, and that slows down our evaluation process. Currently at the primary school, there are 71 students in special education. This is the same number as my last report. 81 at the elementary school, which is down 2, 94 at the middle school, which is down 1, and we continue to have 106 at the high school. We have 13 students in out-of-district special purpose schools for day treatment programming, and we continue to transition that 1 student back, and currently he is spending the majority of his days at RSU73. We received the special education audit results from the DOE. On a scale of 1 to 4, with 1 being the best and hard to get, they tell me. We earned a 2, so yeah, I was disappointed. We do have a corrective action plan and updates that need to be submitted by February 28th of 2025. The majority of these corrections are things we learned about the day that the audit team was here and have already been implemented, so nothing was a big surprise. I did mention to Scott that we are missing some language in our child fine policy, so he'll be bringing that to the policy committee, because that is part of our corrective action plan. Additionally, there is required training for staff. We need to do an IEP training yearly, which we've done for the past 2 years anyway. In 2022, which was my first year, we did it in the summer. And then this past year, we did it in the fall of 23. And that was much more productive, doing it when brains were fresh. So we're going to continue to do the training in the fall each year. We also need to attend DOE resource office hours and submit the list of attendees. And those are 1-hour sessions. They're recorded, and we can use them for professional development during our release time here. Then the last thing we have to do is each year we have to do an internal audit of our files, and that is something that is as simple as giving the teachers a Google form. They go through the form and make sure their IEPs are aligning. We don't have to submit anything to the DOE. It's just a self-check. And then we see the audit team again in 4 years, so that's great. Good news, we found a long-term sub. Today, we had a certified teacher join the special education department at the high school as a long-term sub in the resource room for the remainder of the school year. Thank you to Pam Harnden for running the article and raising the awareness in the paper. We are definitely excited to have found this person. Openings for next year. I anticipate 2 high school special education teachers. Those are the 2 positions that are currently open. 3 Ed Tech 2s, 2 of them at the elementary and 1 at the middle school. 1 Ed Tech 2 one ed tech one, sorry, at the elementary school, and a speech language pathologist, because we had one retire in December, and we haven't been able to replace her yet. I do have one teacher application, and I have 4 ed tech applications, so that's great news. Boothby Therapy Services is a company that we contract with for assisted augmented communication devices, and I met with them this week regarding filling our speech language needs for next year. And because we already contract with them for the AAC devices, they will do a service audit for free. And so that means that they'll give us an estimated time on, do we need a full-time SLP or do we need a part-time? And they have someone we might be able to contract with to fill those slots. So that's good news also. I met with a representative from USM Department of School Psychology today, and we hope to have a doctorate level 2 practicum student for next year. This will help with some of our evaluation needs. And the contracted psychologists we have now are willing to supervise this person. So that might lead to an internship, and the person is from Turner, so hopefully a future school psychologist to work with. And finally, congratulations go to Christina Bamford. She earned her advanced degree for applied behavior analysis from USM last weekend. She had to complete 27 credit hours in applied behavior analysis, and she's currently working with a board-certified behavior analyst for supervision hours and will sit for a national exam to become a BCBA. We currently contract with outside agencies for these services, so I really hope to put her degree to work right here in RSU73.
Any questions or comments? Thank you. TJ was next, but he is at his daughter's college graduation, so we'll give him a pass on that one. Chris?
All right, good evening. The middle school right now has 317 students. On May 1st, we had the Challenger Space Center come to give our school-wide presentation on being an astronaut, living on the space station. The kids get to see all kinds of space artifacts. They even got a message from Jessica Meir. From there, we were able to receive some funding that will allow us to send our 7th graders to the Challenger Space Flight Simulation up in Bangor, which is a really cool experience. And they're going to be doing that, which we just literally finalized the details this afternoon, on June 6th and June 11th. On May 14th and 15th, we'll be completing the main 3-year assessment, formerly known as the NOEAS. On May 21st to the 24th, the kids are going to be, our 6th grade students are going to be going to Bryant Pond for that amazing trip that we had planned. And what's amazing is how the staff, middle school staff, came together to make this work. We have all kinds of different teachers that are going, so that way we don't have to get any subs, and everybody's covering everybody. So it's amazing how they all made that work. And we couldn't have done it without the teachers volunteering to do that. And also what was really kind of interesting to find out is how many of these kids in 6th grade have never stayed away from home. And I don't know if it's a COVID era type of thing, but what we're recognizing is that there's quite a few of them that never even stayed at their grandparents' houses. And they're all actually going to try it. They're going to give it a shot. So, which is courageous on their part. On that same week, on May 21st to the 28th, our 8th grade students will be completing the Adams Science, which used to be the old MEA science test. On May 29th, our 8th grade our 8th graders will be making their 8th grade trip down to the Boston Museum of Science. On May 30th and 31st, our alternative ed will be doing their overnight outing at the main local living school in Temple, and taking advantage of the grant that they were given. June 3rd to June 7th, the 5th grade will be coming up for tours during the day, and they're going to be toured by some of our 8th grade students, which is going to be pretty neat for them to give it and not have to have our social workers do it. June 5th will be incoming fifth grade information night at the middle school. June 6th and 7th, I said, is when we are going to be, the seventh grade is going to be going the Challenger Shuttle simulation. June 13th is going to be our field day. June 14th will be eighth grade promotion, and then on Monday, June 17th, that'll be our step-up day. So, that's all we got.
Do you recall, did we vote for the trip to Boston?
No, we didn't last couple of years.
You're supposed to preserve the state to the board.
Okay,
Well, you need to make a motion.
Yep.
Make a motion.
I didn't know that.
So that they have permission to leave the state. Eighth grade.
Eighth grade, yep.
I make a motion that we give permission for the middle school students, eighth grade class, to go on their Boston trip this year for 2024.
We have a motion, we have Tina? Any comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please. Yep. We try.
We went to high school together, so.
We're good at it.
Oh,
I get this. Salt and battery.
Yes.
Skylar. Jody. Zane.
Yes.
Don Emery.
Yes.
Roger Bolton.
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Tina.
Yes.
Avery. Bob.
yes.
Like you're going to Boston.
All right, thank you. I'll make a note to remind myself next year to ask for permission. Yeah,
Yeah.
March, yep, it's done.
We'll give you a pass.
Thanks.
Any other comments, questions? Elaine?
Thank you. Chris, I'm not just picking on you, I'm planning on asking all of the
Yep.
administrators. I know something that's contributing heavily to our loss of teachers from the district and all over the state, although it's not specifically referred to, it is part of the burnout that's mentioned in this article, and that's student behavior.
Yep.
And I probably will be asking regularly how we're doing with that. I'm not sure if we have, Scott, a way of monitoring serious to minor to moderate. I think you do you? Yeah.
Yeah, we can
And
get some
maybe
of
we
that.
need a monthly report on that.
Yep.
It's good for us to know what our teachers are facing. If we can work together to improve that and improve communication with parents
Yep.
about behaviors, and we all work together.
Very much so.
I know this impacts, I've been in the classroom as the teacher when one student can make the difference in the classroom and
Yep.
how they can all attend to what's happening. So, yeah, how's it going at the middle school?
I think it's going pretty good. I actually just went over some of that information. Right off the top of my head, I can give you some couple preliminary numbers real quick. This year, I've been up to 122 out-of-school suspensions, which is down from last year, but but it's almost the same. It's down a few from last year. The number was, I think it was 42 of the students were repetitive, which means once more, and the total number of students collected was like 56. So so you have a lot of the same repetitive behaviors. And it's usually what I'm seeing, to be honest with you, it's like cultural type of stuff. Outside of stuff being brought into school, social media being brought into school. That type of behaviors. Yeah, and I'll get you more, yeah, absolutely, and I'll be more than happy to get a lot more concrete numbers next time. Yes.
Anyone else? Thank you. Pat?
Good evening. I want to welcome Brian and Roger. I think I have a pretty good sense of humor most of the time, but I had a third grader make something to share with me, and we all know when you see this, usually it's a spider or something. This is literally the most hideous thing I've ever seen come out, so I'm going to give it to Roger and just pass it down. And it's amazing. I don't know how they came up with this, but it was a combination between a third grade student and the art teacher. I'm not really sure about the art teacher after this, but it is going to scare you. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
I see a mirror every day, Mr. St. Clair.
Well, you're not far from that.
If you jump, I'm not open.
So you talk about interesting weeks. So I had a student bring me that, and I was like, that was awesome. The other day, I had a call for help that I've never had in my entire education career. Our fourth grade was outside, and we had to go get a squirrel off one of the students. A baby squirrel was on the ground and was lost and hopped on one of the students and wouldn't let go. So we had never dealt with that before. Luckily, Liz made it out there and was able to get the squirrel off and kind of send it on its way. But you never know what's going to happen in a day at the elementary school. This week, we've had painting with the police. It's been going on all week. We've had representatives of all the local law enforcement agencies, plus Androscoggin Sheriff's Department came up the other day. The kids are loving it. They go in there, they're doing art, they paint, the officers are painting and going around, and it's been really good to see that positive interaction between law enforcement and the kids, and, you know, for the kids to see that, you know, they're not scary. They're just people just like you and I. Dyed hair. I don't know if anybody has seen the pictures, but I lost a bet, and I had to have my hair dyed green. I think I look pretty good, personally. And then my beard was dyed pink, and I got to go around the school. And most of the time I got, oh, you kind of look like a watermelon. You kind of look at, one kid goes, you're kind of creepy looking. And I was like, I think you're wrong, but. So I followed through with that bet. We just received our last order of snowshoes from our greenhouse grant. So we'll be able to get the kids out and snowshoeing next winter. We found out a couple years ago we did the Winter Kids, and we had borrowed the snowshoes from the middle school and had gone to French Falls and lit the kids. And I was surprised at like how many kids don't get outside or had never used snowshoes. And I'm like, you're literally in the best place in the world. I mean, you've got the ski mountain here, you got all the snow. So we got those. We're excited to get the kids outside on that. Fourth grade is going to the New England Livestock Expo. We're just trying to expose kids to what happens in Maine, what kind of careers and jobs and things happen. There's like 35 different booths they're going to be able to go to. They're going to learn about, you know, pulling, cattle, goat judging clinics and those kind of things. So they'll do that on May 17th. NUIA, 3-year, we're doing that. Also on Monday, we start the MBA science test for 5th grade only. So that's pretty much what our May looks like, either doing the test, making up the test, or 5th grade doing math, reading, and science. School numbers. Last time I was here, we had 286, and now we have 285. And you asked about behavior. I think the struggle is we have a lot of behaviors. We have a lot of kids who are not ready when they come to school to learn. I think grit, a lot of kids don't have the grit. You know, if they struggle, they don't fight through that struggle, even with support sometimes. Like this week, we've had kids starting rumors, and then it just goes through a grade level like wildfire. And it's like, if you don't hear it, why are we repeating it? You know, those are the challenges, not wanting to do work, refusing to do work, not following directions. You know, those are all of the things, but it seems like each year it's higher, more numbers. Yeah, I can get you numbers. Yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing Scott brought up was like new teachers. Chris and I did the mock interviews at UMF, and a few years ago I did them, and I personally interviewed anywhere between 15 and 20 you know, seniors that were graduating. This year I had 2 groups, and it was 4 total. And of the 4, 1 already had a job, 2 were moving, 1 was going back to Vermont, 1 was going back to like southern Maine, and 1 was still available. So, UMF is not putting out the numbers they used to. I try to take all the student teachers we can get. We always try to get student teachers in the building. But I think like staff retention, I think behavior is a big issue, you know, because teachers get into teaching to educate kids, you know, and that's really hard to do with some of the behaviors we're seeing. So we're trying different things. I've moved positions to try to give like some more support with third grade. We moved a teacher from title math, so you're, you know, taken from one area to support another area. We're trying a different schedule next year, trying to put an intervention block in to make sure that we have an intervention block in for kids so they're not missing academics to get the interventions that they need. But then it becomes like, how do we support those intervention blocks? How do we, you know, have the staff? That's the challenges we face. And the teachers are working hard. You know, and as far as staff appreciation, I mean, I see how hard our staff works every day. You know, and some days they're defeated because, you know, they're trying to do what's best for kids, but it's hard to when the kids aren't responding. You know, and the staff is doing everything they can. You know, we try to stick together and, you know, help each other, but, you know, there's a point where your staff are going to get burned out. And we need to make sure that we have the staff to provide the services that the kids need, because we're here for the kids. But if we don't have staff, then how do we support the kids?
Anyone else? Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, Holly.
Whoop, sorry, Holly. Sorry.
So the status is, Emma DePompo is doing our greenhouse. She's been working with the kids and planting. We also, the after-school program has been using it. One of the parents comes in, Murray Cassidy, I don't know. He's been coming in, working with the kids and having them plant different things. And so we've been kind of sharing the greenhouse, doing that kind of stuff. Like Wayne and Brian, they're going to power wash and stain and get that all taken care of so that they maintain. But it's good. We got dirt out there. We need to have some crushed asphalt come in to make sure that we're compliant and we get the ramps built so all the kids can use it. So we're still in that phase of it. Like creating a berm to kind of separate the playground from the greenhouse. So we're still working on those things and getting everything we need to kind of get it up and running and figuring out what we still need. And so, because I don't have the greenest thumb, so I have to kind of rely on other people. Absolutely.
Anyone else?
Uh-oh, what did I miss?
I was just curious if you needed my help.
I don't know if we can grow that, can we, on this
I didn't
ground?
say that.
Oh.
I'm
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Michael?
Good evening. Start with enrollment numbers. Currently, last time we spoke, I was at 360 students. I am currently at 356. I do get a call before I left today that we have a new pre-K student starting next week, so that'll go up, hopefully, by the time I talk to you next time. We have just wrapped up last week kindergarten registration. We registered all of the kids in our pre-K program that we currently have, which is right about 60. And then we had about 25 that registered out in the community. So we're looking at like 85 kids right now. That number always goes up in August. First week of September, we always have parents running through the door to drop the kids off. We also started our pre-K registration. That started last Wednesday, and we have one more day of that next Wednesday, the 15th. And right now, we have about 50-ish signed up. So we're looking to get up to that 60 number we were for this year. We are in the process of starting our end-of-the-year assessments right now. That will take us through, hopefully we're all wrapped up by June 1st, because it's no fun trying to test the first couple weeks in June. This past week, we had our PBIS team brought in this company that does a laser light show. So they did a big kindness show for all of our students that came on Tuesday and Wednesday of this past week. And it was, I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was like a rock show. It was down there, they were playing music, kids were dancing, clapping. It was incredible to see. And we also had CMP come in to do their Safety City presentation, where they come in and they present to different grade levels, just safety around electrical lines and never to go near a line. And it was really nice to see her put on that presentation for us. We have lots of events planned, different field trips coming up. So it's going to be a busy last, I think it's 27 days of school. Actually, I think 26 tomorrow, actually, because that starts our ABC countdown for the end of the year. And then just giving out just a huge thank you to my staff. Couldn't do my job without my amazing teachers and staff that are in my building. So, and then behavior. Yeah, I think one of the things that I have noticed is behavior's always been there. There's always, and if you talk to teachers, they're like, oh, you remember this kid or that kid. So the behavior's always been there. The difference is instead of being 1 or 2 per grade level, it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 in each classroom. And it's just, we have so many kids coming to us right now that are just so dysregulated. They get up in the morning, it's chaos, to use that word if you want to. And they're coming in just not ready to learn, not having the skills they need. And then it's about finding the bodies and the support to support those students. Because we noticed that, like I said, if 1 or 2 kids are out, it might run smoother. But a lot of times that is because if we're not running around putting out fires, we can give those interventions to those students that need them. But it is staffing. We do need additional staff to support the students so the teachers can teach. Yeah.
Questions, comments? Jody?
Yeah. I did, yeah.
And I want to thank you for doing that, because that was very messy.
It was.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you going through that for our kids, because I'm sure they
Yeah.
Couldn't hear what you,
some of your colleagues should.
couldn't hear what you said. Oh, ice cream, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is it on now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think some of your other colleagues should post to Facebook when they do fun things for the kids, too. So,
Yeah.
thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
doing the Human Sunday.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
The only thing I want to talk about to the board, you got a blank committee assignment sheet. So put down what you might be interested in, get them to the chair as soon as possible. You can either hand me your requests, or you can email it to me, whatever works best. Okay. District referendum results.
Okay. At the last meeting, I said thank you, and I want to say thank you again to all of our voters for their support of the school budget. The town of Jay had 220 affirmative votes, 117 negative votes, and 4 blank votes. The town of Livermore had 89 affirmative votes, 57 negative votes, and 1 blank. The town of Livermore Falls had 151 affirmative votes, 87 negative votes, and 2 blank votes. Total votes, 460 in the affirmative, 261 in the negative, and 7 blank. So it is your job to, after we make a motion, vote to approve those numbers.
Okay, so we have 2 motions here. First motion, be it voted that the computation and declaration of votes dated April 23rd, 2024, and attached hereto be approved, that the computation and declaration of votes be entered upon the records of Regional School Unit Number 73, the Regional School Unit, that a certified copy of the computation and declaration of votes be sent to each of the municipal clerks within the regional school unit, and that the foregoing computation and declaration shall be signed by a majority of the school board, and that these signatures may be made electronically by execution of counterparts or in person at the convenience of members of the school board. So I've made the motion. Do we have a second? Robin? Any comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Brian? Yes. Holly? Yes. Dawn? Tina?
Yes.
Yes. And the second motion, I move that the warrant for assessment of tax and the assessment schedule and notice of installments of tax for each member municipality prepared by the treasurer for fiscal year period 2024-2025 be approved and be issued in form presented to this meeting, and that the treasurer be authorized and directed to deliver to each member municipality its warrant for assessment of tax, its assessment schedule, and notice of installments of tax. That's the motion. Do I have a second? Dawn? Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Holly? Yes. Elaine?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Brian? Yes. Tina?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes. So moved. And just a reminder, after adjournment tonight, whoop.
Yes.
Good call, good catch. After the adjournment tonight, we have like 21 pages of things to sign, so be ready to sign away. Okay, new business, district school calendar.
Okay, in front of you, you have the district school calendar that's being proposed. Remember, we send students to Foster Tech, so we have to line up with RSU9. We're allowed to have up to 5 dissimilar days with them. At the moment, with this calendar, we only have 1 dissimilar day. We do a meet and consult with the association on this calendar, and then I meet and talk with the president and vice president. One of the things that they helped me out with, they had a vote survey among the teachers to talk about whether or not they wanted late arrival or early dismissal. It was actually 50-50 exactly to go one, so there was no dominant side. When I brought that back to the administrative team saying that, it's 50-50, the administrative team said they'd like to go back to the late arrivals, which also lines up better with Foster Tech because Foster Tech does late arrivals on Wednesdays. So we've kind of been doing something different than they've been, which isn't against the rules when it comes to the calendar being approved. However, it makes it more difficult, especially for those high school students, because they were missing part of period 4. And if it was a day that they were coming in late up there and then being dismissed early here, they lost time at Foster Tech as well. So this is what the recommendation is at this time.
Okay, before discussion, we have to have a motion, so would anyone like to make a motion on this? Robin?
I move that we accept the RSU73 calendar for year 2024 and 2025
As presented.
as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Roger? Any comments, questions now? Elaine?
In the future, are we going to continue our policy about snow days just being snow days, or are we going to utilize remote days at all? I know we haven't used remote days because overall they were found to be pretty ineffective, but I've been asked that question,
Yep.
so I want
Yes, they have been found pretty ineffective, and as you can see, people think we used a lot of days. We actually only used 6 this year. I've seen other districts do it. I don't know how they do it because a lot of districts didn't have power, let alone internet. So in order to do it and do it right, I don't see how that's happening. What I had suggested to the board in the past was, let's stay with the regular storm days. If we have an exceptional year that we get to beginning of March and already review 7 days, that maybe we can vote at that point in time for the rest of the year and say, from this point forward, if we have a storm day, let's use a remote day. Because it's definitely not beneficial to those kids. We also need to remember, you need to set something up in place because students need to be fed. Some districts have sent home like storm packs, like they do for the senior citizens, that if, they get their food delivered on a daily basis, but if it's a storm, they tell them to use their storm pack because they're not going to be delivered that day, Meals on Wheels. Or the other thing some other districts have done is, instead of feeding everybody, they sent out a form at the beginning of the year and said, if we have a storm day, a remote day, do you want your child to be fed? So there's a list, so they wouldn't necessarily feed every single student, but those students on the list. And what they try to do is they send it out the night before when they think there's going to be a storm the next day. And in probably 95% of the time, it's correct that we do have a storm the next day. I personally don't like to call it the night before because I've grown up in Maine, and sometimes we don't get the weather that they say we're going to get when we're going to get it. So I'm personally not for. I don't believe, for everything I've heard from my staff, they're not for remote days. Like I said, if we keep an open mind and we do have a severe year, that maybe we can look at it partway through the year and say, okay, these last 2 or 3, we need to go remote.
Jody?
What is the day that is off from the Mount Blue schedule?
It's the first teachers, we have 3 teachers workshops, they only have 2, but their contract is 180 days, our teacher's contract is 181. When we used to have 2 in March,
Yes.
we were off there as well because they only had 1 day in March. So by us moving it to the beginning of the year, we're still only off 1 day from what
Okay.
Blue is.
And so that's the other question is, that's why you did it at the beginning of the year, because you feel like the teachers get more
Yeah,
during teacher workshops at the beginning?
Yeah, when we asked the teachers for, meet and consult, they said, gee, is the second day in March really worthwhile? Originally, we put the second day in because we were always doing the rendezvous with RSU9 in the local areas. That was, everybody went to like UMF and did professional development together. COVID kind of blew that out of the water, and now it's also they've talked about possibly doing it again, but it's a greater cost because they don't have that funding anymore. So we listened to what the staff had said and said, let's move it then, especially when you have new teachers coming in, and there's so many new regulations and things that we have to do before we can even start the year, that having that extra day in the beginning of the year made sense to us. That's why we moved it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Holly?
So I know part of the reason you were doing, or the district was doing early release days was for professional development for the teachers.
Yep.
So how is that going to affect that?
We'll still have professional development for the teachers every morning. The only thing that becomes a little bit harder with that is when you're trying to do things in between different buildings. So we've talked as a group that we need to make sure when we have the workshop days, that we make sure those days are more blocked out for interaction between the buildings, and that these days are for professional development and work in the buildings.
Within the building, okay.
Hey, of course, we had the Professional Development Committee back this year, and so we met and discussed it, and actually, even though there were some teachers that liked the late arrival better, and then some that, on the committee itself, that liked the early release better, as a group, 100%, they felt like the late arrivals would be better for professional development, especially where we're bringing in new curriculums and things like that, and it's going to be by school, and so we'll be able to set a calendar for the year, and have things set up as the committee, and be able to keep that as a consistent, weekly thing that's happening, instead of waiting every 2 weeks and switching and things like that. So they thought it was going to help make it a lot more consistent.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Roger?
Scott, the need to send food home, is that a state law type thing?
Yes, it is. It's a state law.
Is there somebody we can talk to about that? Because that just seems counterproductive to me. I mean, we're not feeding the kids and not educating them when we could be educating them, but we're not going to because we haven't sent food home. That seems great intentions, but doesn't seem to have wonderful results. And I guess I disagree that trying to switch gears at the beginning of March to do the remaining days would be more of a challenge than planning at the beginning of the year to do those things once we've expired our 5 days.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't necessarily, I agree with you on that. It could be more difficult at that time. And I'm not saying that necessarily we get to 5 days. I mean, our average, we're usually anywhere from 4 to 6. It's really strange because some years you get to, we've had a year, I remember we got to February vacation, we used 0 storm days, and then we used 6 between February and April. So you never really know 100%. I'm saying if we were to get up to around 7 or 8, and the number looked like it was going to be huge, and now we're going to be going, because you're not supposed to go past June 30th, to educate the kids. If it was something dire, I wouldn't want to be, okay, every year when we get to 5, we're going to jump to remote. That's not what I'm trying to point out, but I understand what you're saying. It would be more.
That would be my preference,
Yep.
is that we plan for that every year. It just seems reasonable and lets us stick to the calendar better. I know other schools are doing it, so can we copy what they're doing as far as the food program? Can we maybe communicate with them and see what's happening?
Yeah, we can find out what they're doing. Like I said, I know 56 that's where they didn't do the full amount of kids. They sent a form home saying, okay, if we have a remote day, do you want food sent home? So they have 1,400, no, they probably have 1,000 kids in their district, but they're only sending meals home for 700 because that form was agreed upon before.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Anyone else? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to, where am I here? Accept the, we already have? Oh, right, because we did that, yes. We have a motion and a second. Sorry, thank you. I guess we need a roll call then.
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Avery, yes, Bob,
Yes. So moved. And Hauling Strong tennis court bid proposal.
This is a long process. If anybody has questions, Deb Roberts is here tonight too, that she can help answer some of the questions if you have them. Remember, this is the third set of proposals that we asked for. We had asked for the first set almost a year and a half ago because we had heard that we received the grant from the Land and Water Conservation, but we hadn't actually had it signed yet from them. So we got the bids in and we couldn't use them because federal government's a little slow from time to time, so we weren't able to get those in. So then last fall, once everything was approved, we sent out for bids again. We didn't receive any. So then we said, let's try it again at the end of summer, see if it can line up with a better timing for people. So we did it again, and the bids came in February. We only had one proposal. It was quite a bit higher than what it had been in the past, but as we've talked to anybody who's dealing with construction cost, et cetera, everything has gone up over time. So a couple things that we've done is we've reached back out to the Land and Conservation, sent in a request for more money from them, and they said that has happened in the past because other districts have experienced the same thing, because when they started out, the cost was this much, and by the time everything went through, the cost was this much. And we've also requested for extension of time. The nice thing is we have met with this company a couple times through Zoom, and they were willing to break it down into phases for us. Because at the moment, we only have enough money to pay for phase 1. we don't have enough money to pay for the whole thing. We have if you guys approve this tonight, we have our lawyer drafting it up that we are only responsible for phase 1 until we agree that it's time for phase 2 to start. If phase 2 starts, then we'd have to be responsible for the rest of the amount. In that amount of time, we will hopefully hear back from the Land and Conservation, see if we got more money from them, but also, in order for Deb to ask for more grants, we need to approve a bid. Like is it United Tennis, USTA Tennis? She can't even ask money for them yet, knowing that we're probably gonna ask for $25,000 from them until we've approved a bid. And there's other places with the same thing. I don't know how Deb does it, because it's very tedious, and it has to be in a row. If we approve this tonight, we're only on the hook for the first phase, and we have the money for the first phase to be paid for, okay? The goal is, when we've talked to them, is that they would start to do the first phase this summer, and then they'd start the second phase the following spring. I mean, the worst-case scenario is we have some structure built over there and we don't finish, but Deb's will have another Holland Strong Derby, which we got $20,000 for. She's got other places to ask. And people who've talked about wanting to donate need to see dates and times and see something. They're not comfortable just saying, well, we're going to let you use these 2 dump trucks. Well, when are you going to let us use those 2 dump trucks to get our in-kind money if we don't know what that date is that we can let you use those 2 dump trucks? So in order to move forward, we need a positive vote tonight on this. Like I said, it doesn't guarantee anything, and the other thing is it doesn't lock us in. I also, when I talked to the Land and Water Conservation, I said, what happens if you guys have, said we've got this money for this project and we don't finish the project? What happens with the money? Do we owe you money? And he said, no, you would not owe us money. We would end the project to where it got to, and then they would take back some of their money. Because remember, a big part of this is match. They give us a certain amount, we match a certain amount with either donations. Remember, we had, as a board a couple of years ago now, voted $45,000 that's sitting there that they can use. Any in-kind work, what Holland Strong has raised so far, that's all in-kind match money. Deb, do you have anything to add, or did I get it right?
An important point is the phasing makes sense. We worked with the contractor to make sure that the phasing made sense, the excavation, groundwork, running anything under the ground for wiring, getting ready for poles, fencing. So it's a good breakdown between phase 1 and phase 2. It does make sense.
And Craig Boone was also involved with those meetings to say that we're at that's a good phase breakdown for us, so.
Kudos to Craig Boone because he's been at it as long as I have, and he doesn't charge. So that's in-kind work that counts towards the match for engineering and design, so huge thank you for the community member. It's stuck with me for all this time. It's a lot of work.
All set?
Yep.
Entertain a motion.
Roger's got a question.
We're going to do the questions after the motion. Entertain a motion to approve the Holland Strong Tennis Courts bid proposal. Motion by Jody, second by Tina. Roger.
So I guess my question is, even if we get through with this and everything is built, do we have in the budget or plans to be able to maintain that? And before you answer that question, I did want to thank Deb Roberts. I am 100% behind this. That's been an eyesore in the town for a while. I think it'd be wonderful to see it used again, and I super appreciate all the time that Deb has put into it. I just want to make sure that we're going to support it once it's completed, so that it doesn't...
We don't have anything in the budget as of now because it's not completed, but in the future, we'll be sitting down with Ken for maintenance or whatever. What do we need to do in order to keep it up?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions? Don?
I hope I didn't miss it in your presentation, but how many other bids were there?
This was the only bid this time.
That's the only one?
Yep.
That's interesting. Okay. And what kind of time frame were they talking about when they break ground?
They talking about the end of the summer for this first phase, and then they'd come back in the spring to hopefully, spring and summer to hopefully finish up.
To finish phase one?
To
or
finish phase two.
Phase
Phase one should be done by the end of this summer.
Thank you.
Holly?
And this Ray Labby and Sons, have they done this type of tennis court stuff before?
Yes, they
Okay.
have. Yep. Good question. They have, yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Elaine,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
Tyler. Don,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes. So moved. I'd entertain a motion to enter executive session to discuss a personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRSA 456A. Motion by Roger, do we have a second? By Dawn. Roll call, please.
Robin,
Yes.
Skylar. Jody,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Brian. Tina,
Yes.
Avery. Yes. Bob.
Yes, so moved. Going to ask everyone to step outside, please. We're going to meet right here.
Oh, 2 sessions.
Back in session at 7:14. And I would entertain a motion for the contract renewal for fiscal years 25 and fiscal year 26 for the following: Michael Glynn, Chris Hollingsworth, Mark Keller, TJ Plourd, Christopher Target, Patrick St. Clair, Sherry Parker, and Jenna Cody. Roll call.
Second.
We have a second, yes. I'm tired tonight, I'm sorry. I actually get I entertain a motion, so there's a motion. Do we have a second? Dawn. Now we'll try that.
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes. So moved? Yep. Ladies can't vote on that one, so. Entertain a motion to enter into executive session, discuss a personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056A. Tina and Elaine, roll call, please.
Robin,
Yes.
Skylar. Jody,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Brian. Tina,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Avery. Yes. Bob.
Yes. So moved, and we're going back. 2022. I'd entertain a motion to accept the probationary 1 contract renewal for Michael Hyland. Motion by Roger, second by Don. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes. So moved. Entertain a motion to accept the probationary 2 contract renewals for the following: Alexis Bessie, Christy Bessie, Matthew Charland, Brittany Doucette, Jason Howes, Paula Keller, Dan Latham, Isaac Ledesma, Natalie Luce, Tammy Mayu, Lynn Mercier, Rebecca Willett, and Cameron Wells. Hopefully I didn't butcher any of those names. Motion by Robin and second by Elaine. Roll call, please.
Robin,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes. So moved. Entertain a motion to accept the continuing contract renewals for the following: Josh Albee, Emily Brett, Emily Cheney, Avery Clucci, Tony Condon, Sunny Rose Juzakonis, Madison Lekowicz, Katie Mastine, Jessica Moran, Michael Morrow, Megan Reed, and Catherine Robitaille. We have a motion by Elaine, second. Robin, roll call, please.
Roger,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
Robin,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes, so moved. You have your co-curricular appointments, retirements, resignations. As it says there, we hope that the high school students have a wonderful and safe prom this month. Don't forget, Mother's Day is Monday. Sunday. Ooh, I tell you, I'm having a bad day. Sunday. Brian, don't forget that. She's sitting right here hearing this, so. Sunday. Okay, and, is that the middle? Okay, May 23rd. The meeting says high school, but it's at the middle school. Right here again for our next meeting with the Finance Committee. And would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Elaine and Tina? And before we vote, don't forget, stay for signatures. Roll call?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. And board members?